You send a text, you see the little red receipt pop up, and then nothing. Minutes tick by, then an hour. Psychologists call this an information vacuum. Human brains absolutely despise a lack of data. When we encounter a blank space, we rarely wait patiently for the facts to arrive. We immediately start manufacturing our own. At first, the story we write is pretty harmless. You might assume that the other person got pulled into a meeting or left their phone in another room entirely. As the silence stretches on, those simple guesses splinter into elaborate anxieties. Maybe they're still angry about a joke you made last week. Maybe they took a screenshot and sent it to a separate group chat, and everyone is currently laughing at you. Without actual evidence, we instinctively draft a sprawling, paranoid thriller rather than accepting a mundane reality. Every piece of that paranoid thriller relies on an assumption. An assumption is just a fragile what-if that you plug into a scenario to make your invented story hold together. There is a severe mathematical problem with doing this. Every time you stack another assumption onto your explanation, the probability of the entire theory drops. What starts as one simple unknown rapidly branches out into dozens of intersecting possibilities, each one depending on the last. The cognitive load gets so heavy and the web so tangled that the actual reality gets completely buried under imagined scenarios. To function without losing our minds, we need a way to cut through this self-generated noise and pull ourselves back to a baseline of reality. What if the absolute simplest explanation is the one that's actually true? In the 14th century, an English Franciscan friar named William of Ockham recognized how easily the human mind gets bogged down in unnecessary complications. He championed a logical principle that translates roughly to, entities should not be multiplied beyond necessity. Today, we call this Occam's razor. It acts as a heuristic, a mental shortcut, designed specifically to shave off the unnecessary what-ifs and prune away layers of complicated paranoia. It doesn't magically guarantee you'll find the absolute truth. It serves as a risk management filter for our own chaotic thinking. Medical students are often taught a highly practical version of this. When you hear hoofbeats in the hallway, think horses, not zebras. A horse is the statistically probable answer because it requires the fewest new, extraordinary assumptions to be true. Assuming a zebra means assuming an exotic zoo escape right outside your hospital door. We understand this intuitively as children. Take a lost tooth replaced by a quarter. A child might believe in the tooth fairy, while an adult knows a parent just snuck into the room. The tooth fairy explanation requires a massive conspiracy of variables: flying magical beings, a global tooth logistics network, flawless stealth. The parental explanation requires almost none. Your dad had a quarter. Explanations heavily loaded with variables are inherently unstable, usually collapsing under their own improbability. Applying parsimony forces us to accept the most statistically probable outcome over the most imaginative one. But relying exclusively on the razor has a hidden trap. Stripping away nuance just to make a story feel neat and tidy is incredibly dangerous. The medical field has a counter-argument to the hoofbeats called Occam's dictum. It states that a patient can have as many coexisting diseases as they damn well please. The real world is messy, overlapping, and interconnected. If you enforce strict simplicity on a genuinely complicated problem, you end up with inadequate, false conclusions. Albert Einstein recognized this exact tension when explaining complex scientific and societal ideas to the public. He offered a profound warning about losing depth. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler. Occam's razor prevents us from chasing imaginary ghosts. Occam's dictum prevents us from ignoring real monsters just because their biology is complicated. This leaves us with a difficult question. Do we crave simple explanations because they represent scientific truth, or just because they bring us emotional comfort? Think back to that glowing phone screen in the dark and the spiraling anxiety of the unreturned text. Suddenly, the screen lights up. Sorry, fell asleep. The tension vanishes instantly. Occam's razor gives us the wisdom to stop fighting ghosts of our own creation. And once we stop writing paranoid fiction to fill the void, we finally have the energy to face the actual, necessary complexities of the real world.